And we believe it's so important to be anticipating the next move. I would also say on the beginnings of a ETF Bitcoin, we believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities around bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
BlackRock just filed with the SEC to launch Tokenization Fund. Quoting, the next step is the tokenization of financial assets, and that means every stock and every bond. As this may sound like a bad thing, the tokenization of assets refers to the process of issuing a blockchain token, specifically a security token that digitally represents a real tradable asset. What does this mean? Well, if this was the case, if every single thing was tokenized and put on a public ledger, put on the blockchain, what would the real use be for the stock market with all of the loopholes that it has? In this case, this would actually reflect supply and demand. And keep in mind, they already filed this with the SEC. It's not just a proposal. Anyway, moving on, short seller Russell Clark considers restarting his hedge fund. Previously, this short seller shuttered his hedge fund 2 years ago after losing out on the longest running bull market in history, stating that the trading strategies were different and he didn't really know how to actually run the fund based on new trading. So what does he know now? Did he figure out the crime and the corruption that short sellers use? Speaking of short sellers, short interest, highest we've seen it in a while on AMC, sitting at 14.07%. According to Ortex, we pay attention to this for the trend to see where short interest is going. Are they shorting it more? We know it's much greater than this. Almost 37 million shares shorted currently as we speak, and I think that number is going to continue to grow. Now, the ISDA has provided their 2 cents on the newly proposed CFTC regulation, protection of clearing member funds held by derivative clearing organizations. It comes to no surprise that their changes include less competition and extended relief for big banks. Somebody previously commented how banks are actually doing well, reporting record earnings. Just know that likely these numbers are inflated. What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we are going to be talking about AMC, GameStop, crypto, the overall market, and a trade that I just entered and I put in Discord. So watch until the end of the video so you don't have to watch another update here on YouTube. Without further ado, I thank you all for hitting that like button and getting this video to 1,000 likes because I know you guys can. Let's get into it. Yesterday we talked about GameStop trading where it's trading, breaking below the supply zone potentially and coming back under $12.50 to $11. And that is exactly what is happening. With that being said, that would be tracking this cycle if it does play out, which is likely to happen. And that means GameStop wouldn't have the next run until late June. Now, correlating this is the negative, this is the bear case scenario, right? Bear case for AMC as well as GameStop. I want to show you right in front of you. Because as everything is moving, we do have a shot at running, but I want to show you a couple things that correlate. AMC, in the previous cycle that we've been tracking before the January run-up, 221 days into this cycle was right here on AMC. Why does 221 days matter? Well, from the cycle, from the beginning down here at the yellow cycle to where we're trading at right now, is about 221 days. With that being said, if the same thing were to happen, this is how AMC would play out. It would chop down against this parallel channel, break to new lows, testing this trend line around 340 and bottom out around 318 to $3 as the very bottom before squeezing, and that would be late June, early July. That is how it correlates to GameStop, and that is where we're basically looking at right now for that next move up. However, if this doesn't happen, you're looking at the next move up very early April, assuming we hit these 3 touch points and we're scaling down on AMC before that move higher. which this is still very likely, and I want to explain why. If we look at Ethereum Classic on weekly time frame, you can see where it's trading at right now is very similar to back here before we had that massive rally to hit all-time highs, which means we would only have 2-3 weeks until moving up higher. Same with XRP. XRP is trading right here, looking very similar to where it traded back here before that run up to all-time highs, which means we only would have 2-3 weeks before mooning higher. This also correlates to Bitcoin as well and crypto as a whole, and we're going to get into that later in the video. As of right now, AMC 2,000 calls compared to 6,000 puts expiring in the money, 40,000 out of the money compared to 15,000 out of the money. Short exempts getting lower and lower, 83,000 down to 69,000. GameStop, basically no calls compared to 5,000 puts expiring in the money and 44,000 calls expiring out of the money. Premium going to market makers. Short exempts kind of sitting mid. As of right now, I think GameStop is going to fall lower. IV on puts is extremely high. This is implied volatility, making the contracts more and more expensive. So be very careful paying that high premium if you do enter puts on GameStop. But as of right now, I'm pretty confident it's going to break below 12.50. Now Reddit is about to IPO. According to Investor Place, here's 3 short squeeze stocks to buy before the Reddit IPO: LUNR, DM, and BLNK. You guys can put these on your radar and take this with a grain of salt. Take it with what you will. But one thing to note is that the Reddit IPO, I believe, is coming out tomorrow. And today we have FOMC. I wanted to show you guys what I'm looking at on the SPY. I think the SPY is going to sell off. On the weekly time frame, you're seeing volume slowly on the decline, and you're seeing the RSI extremely overbought for an extended period of time. Last time it was here during the COVID crash, we took a very large sell-off, and then prior to that, anytime we touch this point, we normally consolidate or get a small correction touching the top of the RSI, right? But we are over that. We are extended over that, and I think the SPY is going to have at least a minor correction coming after today and for the rest of the week. So just keep that in mind. I could be wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. Take this with a grain of salt. But if you agree with me, drop FOMC in the comments down below. Now, what did I just enter? Before I show you guys what I just entered, I want to tell you real quick about the Moomoo Investing app, the sponsor of this video. If you press the top link in the description and open a broker account through Moomoo and deposit $1 into there, they're going to give you up to 15 free stocks. Each of these stocks valued up to $2 grand per stock and 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash. So no risk, free money, way better than a high yield savings account, and producing nearly the same returns on average for the overall market with 0 risk. They're also giving you level 2 order book data for free access to trading options, going long, going short, and more. So again, use the top link, that's Moomoo, open an account and deposit $1 into there. Also guys, get in the Discord. I'm in there on the daily, so you can come talk with me. You can also request certain videos that you want me to put out on the channel. And we talk stocks as well as crypto all day long with the most amazing people. We have the best vibes. There's also options trading alerts in there, and I post my trades as soon as I take them. That link is in the top of the description and pinned in the top comments as well. And speaking of posting my trades as soon as I take them, Tesla. I just took Tesla puts. As of right now, I still think Tesla has a slight chance to come back up and test 180 before falling further. And if we break above that, I may get stopped out. However, I still think Tesla's coming down to 154 to 147, especially with what the Fed's about to say, saying that they may keep rates higher for longer because Tesla is a rate sensitive stock, inflation sensitive, right? Now, Ethereum, I wanted to brush on Ethereum because Ethereum is holding up. It broke below the fib level, coming back up to retest it, and I think it's going to sell off even further, coming all the way down to potentially 2,300. Speaking of that, Ethereum Foundation under investigation by state authority. And shifting over to Bitcoin, 5 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts will be liquidated at 75K. Finally, I want to touch on Bitcoin on 3 different time frames. As of right now, it's the first day Bitcoin has entered the danger zone, aka the pre-halving retrace. Now let's first take a look at it on the 1-minute time frame. This thing broke below structural support at 63,000, getting smashed down to 62, and I think it is going to continue to break lower as volume is increasing on this sell-off to the downside. Now, if we take a look at the daily time frame, we came up and we retested 64,000 wick, and you could see that we did not break over that. I think Bitcoin is coming down to 59,000 as of right now on this move lower. And once Bitcoin breaks below that, I see 54,000, but that may not be the bottom. Let's take a look on the weekly time frame. Back here is where Bitcoin looks like it's trading, getting the first move in the bull run and then the correction before the halving. And this correction was 31%. If we saw anything near the same degree, Bitcoin would come down to about 50K to 52K. And you can see there is minor support right here, which is likely that Bitcoin will come down and test that. It doesn't have to happen. If that doesn't happen, we want Bitcoin to hold that 59,000 level. If we break under 59,000, like you see on the daily time frame, expect Bitcoin to come all the way to 50 to 52. And let me know if you are buying more Bitcoin in the comments down below. Last but not least, Saudi Arabia to launch $40 billion artificial intelligence fund. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Check the links, subscribe to the channel, have post notifications on. I love you all. Lottery Socks out.